Do you want to work on an existing carriage or define a new carriage? Then select the project in which you want to create it. To do this, go to the list, Carriage List. Here you will either see existing vehicles that you can edit or, as in our case, you will have to create a new project. You have the option of defining a carriage as a single car. However, you can also define a carriage with an excess length, which is the case, for example, with articulated trains, with so-called electrical multiple units. When we create a new carriage, we assign a carriage name. This is an abbreviation that appears in all evaluations, and an extended description so that you can also enter more detailed information internally to maintain an overview. Subsequently, you must define the dimensions of the wagon layout. The dimensions are always entered in millimeters. This is about the internal dimensions that are available for the use of the interior space. They are usually somewhat smaller than the external dimensions. However, it is sufficient to be as precise as possible. They do not necessarily have to be accurate to the millimeter. We now create a classic passenger train carriage and say this has an internal dimension of 26 meters and a width of 2 meters 60. You then define the number of stories. You have the option of defining single-story vehicles or double-story vehicles. If you define a single-deck vehicle, click on Single Deck and then create the car class. You can decide whether this vehicle consists of a single class, e.g. the whole vehicle is a second or first class carriage, or whether there are several classes. When you create a class, you define whether you use a second class, first class or class with a higher comfort level, a couchette sleeper, whether you design a train restaurant, or whether it is an urban transport vehicle. You need to save the class definition. And with that, your carriage is defined with the added class. As soon as you click on Save, you save the entire car layout and can no longer edit it afterwards. If, for example, you still want to edit the dimensions, then go to Reset Class Definition. Then go back one step and you can still change dimensions here. If you want to define several classes, for example a carriage with first and second class, then go to Multiple and define the area that corresponds to the second class, for example. We choose here up to the middle of the car and then add another area corresponding, for example, to first class. Here too, you need to click on Save Class Configuration in the next step. And then you have the option of putting the whole car on by pressing Save. If, for example, you want to create a double-decker vehicle, we now go to Reset Class Definition, to return to the editing mode. You can pick a double-story train. And you also have the option of defining whether a vehicle consists of one or more classes. If you click on Single, then you can define the lower deck and the upper deck differently. And then you have a vehicle with two classes per deck or the same class in the upper and lower deck. Here, too, you have the option of defining different sections. For example, we can say that in the lower deck, half of the vehicle is second class and the other half is first class. On the upper deck, we have the whole vehicle with second class only. Would you like to remove an area again? Then click on Remove Area. We now create a car, a single-deck vehicle with a class to generate a simple demonstration object. We pick single-deck vehicle with one class, select second class and save the class assignment. Now we can save the carriage. With this, the car is defined, And we have the possibility to create different layouts that are finally compared with each other. Do you want to delete the wagon? Press X. Do you want to change the basic settings? Then click on the pencil and you can still change the name here. Further settings regarding length, number of floors and classes can no longer be changed, as you may have already created several layouts that would be changed by this. To create layouts that they can then compare with each other, go to the list icon, to the layout list.